I'm going to turn this a little bit. I hope that's all right. Can you hear me? All right? Man, right there. Well, I'm going to do a quick introduction to myself so you know who's talking to you tonight. And first, before I do that, I do want to thank Tony, Christy, and the girls for being a part of our lives and what they mean to us. And what he's coming and planning into our lives, because Tony probably doesn't know how much of a spiritual light he's been to me and to our ministry. And also just coming up to Ohio, helping us with the events that we've had. I brought something for you guys, so hope you like gifts. But if somebody, a couple guys will help me, everybody gets an ink pen. And this ink pen has the Ohio Outpouring and the church name and address on it. And also, if you're sitting there thinking, well, I'd take some notes if I had a pen, there you go. So, yeah, and it is a stylus pen. For those of you who have the phones, so it's a stylus on the end, and it is an ink pen. So who would like to help? A couple volunteers are in the box. Just give everybody one. Yeah. While they're doing that, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me, so that you just don't feel like, well, you know, this guy coming in here, we don't know who he is, what he's all about. I'll just tell you a little bit that I'm from Eastern Kentucky originally. I was born in Prestonsburg, Kentucky, so I was raised in a head of a holler. Anybody know what a holler is? We had dirt roads and no bridges on the road. I was raised most of my life with an outside toilet. So, but worse than that was the good part. Worse than that was I had an alcoholic father. I was raised in a real rough environment. And I was thrown out of school before I literally got through high school, but ended up getting my high school diploma. So I don't come to you tonight with some doctorate degree of education or anything. What I'm about to share with you tonight is revelation from the Lord and where God is taking me. I was a rough character at one time and seen the transformation in my life. You know, before I was 14 when I received my first 10 stitches in a knife fight, and by 16 I was in my first gunfight. So you know a little bit about where I come from. But when I was, one night on a Tuesday night, I was working construction. I was raised in a home where it was not permitted to say, I love you. Nobody said it, nobody showed any affection. And it was just that atmosphere. My dad taught me to fight and to hustle. I sat as a child with him in poker games, and we just learned that style of life. Never was loved, didn't feel any love until I met my wife. Honey, would you just stand up for just a moment? We just, last month, this is Elizabeth, I call her Beth. Last month we celebrated 39 years. Married her when she was 5.
Praise God, he's back today.
First time I ever felt love was from her, and through her I was able to find Jesus Christ, but not in a church. It was on a Tuesday night. I poured 140 yards of concrete that day, doing physical labor, using all that education I didn't get. And I was, ex-drug dealer stopped by my house on a Tuesday night and said he was there by the leading of the Holy Spirit. Didn't mean nothing to me. Didn't understand what he was talking about, but I knew he used to be a drug dealer, so he had my attention. So we talked a little bit, and he opened the Word of God, and he was telling me that God sent him there that I would be saved. Didn't know what saved meant. wasn't raised in church, never been in church. I didn't know what he was talking about. So he went a little farther. He said, I want to introduce you to God, the creator of the universe. So I literally thought I was going to meet God. So I told him, I said, well, I'd be interested in that. So I went back and I got cleaned up because he said, what are you doing? I said, well, I don't want to meet God dressed like this. So I went back and got cleaned up and I came back out and he said, well, are you ready? And I said, well, no. I said, man, my wife at the time was living in a mobile home and I said, you know, if I'm going to meet the creator of the universe, I'd like to meet him in one of the big fancy churches. I said, I don't want to meet him in this mobile home. Not against mobile homes, but that was my mentality. So he got on the phone and he found this pastor and opened up this big Methodist church. And we went down to the Methodist church and you know, he was getting frustrated. And he finally we get down there and he said, anything else you want? You know, are you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready now. So we got down to the altar and we prayed. And I did everything he said to do the way he said it to do it. And we stood up and after we prayed, he said, what do you think? And I said, what was supposed to happen? And he said, well, you should have received the Lord. And I said, well, I didn't, nothing. So he was wise enough he said, let's do it again. And the second time that I was down repeating that prayer and confessing my sins, it literally felt like somebody walked up behind me and lifted all that guilt and all that shame and all that garbage that was in my life. It was off, and I stood up and I just literally, I forgot all about meeting God because I felt so good. and it just felt so light. But that started my journey walking with the Lord. God began to work with me through dreams and visions. God began to take me deep into the Word. And my wife and I, we started pastoring a number of years ago and founded this church in Gallion, Ohio called Victory Rock. It's on the ink pen. That's our address. But God began then to show us our purpose as to why, you know, we were there. And when we began to learn that, so I really feel like tonight when I was just worshiping, I heard the Lord say that there's somebody here tonight that's discouraged, and you're discouraged in the ministry, you're discouraged in your calling, you're discouraged in where God, you want to, and you think you should or whatever, but you're discouraged. And I'm here to encourage you tonight because I'm going to tell you what I'm going to share with you tonight is going to lift your spirits. It's going to help you understand timing with God, because this is what I believe the church is missing today. You know, we're caught in a rut. Now, I hate to say that. I say that respectfully because I know God still moves. But see, there's a time when God plans things and God does things. There's timing in what he does. And what God has told us in our church, that this is the time that, like when David went and got the ark. Because you see, they had a temple, a tabernacle rather, and Shiloh. And they had the ark, they had the priest, they had everything. It was working. And they were doing things there, but they didn't have the presence of God. So David went to Obadiah's house to get the presence of God, to get the ark. Because Obadiah was walking, he was flourishing in the presence of God. But he didn't take it to the tabernacle. He took it down to Jerusalem and he pitched a tent. And this is what God has told us to do. He's told us to go outside of our sanctuary, to go out in the field beside our church, and we're going to pitch a tent. And Tony's come, and we've done this before. We haven't done this now in a number of years. We did it 3 years in a row, and God said quit. We quit. We waited a few years, and now we're going to do it again. But Tony was there, and I think all three of them. And one night, when Tony was there, he received a word. There's a guy still, he's playing guitar in our church. His eyeglasses were thicker than pop bottle bottoms, and Tony called for us. He had a word, somebody get sight. The boy run up there, he don't wear glasses, he's got 20/20 vision. I think we baptized like 57 that weekend, and we just seen God move. But what I'm about to tell you tonight is going to supersede anything that I've ever seen in all the years that I've been ministering. And believe me, in our church, we got miracles. We got miracles. That ain't just no small thing. I mean, there's people that have transformations that when they testify, people weep because of their background and where they've come out of. So we're on the edge of something, and I want to take you there tonight. I want to take you on this journey with me because I know it's going to lift your spirits. You're going to be glad you're alive. You're going to be thankful. You can hear the Lord, and you're going to be glad that you can answer your call and you can step into what God's got for you. But you're going to do it with confidence. I'm that confident what I'm about to share with you that God is going to lift your spirits. You see, if you know something, and you can walk in what you know, and it's where God wants to take you. People don't understand how God works in cycles of times and how God has plans for their lives. You know, even Joseph understood that his life was going to end before the cycle in which something was going to happen. So he told him, take my bones. And you know, they planted these bones they was this within where the resurrection of Christ took place. Because I believe he knew through the prophet Abraham, because Jesus said, Abraham saw my day and rejoiced in it. He knew there's going to be a resurrection. And Joseph said, Grandpa said that's going to happen over here. He said, now you get my bones, you get me over there, because I'm going to get in this next thing God's going to do. And guess what happened? I believe he was in that resurrection. That was the place where when David beheaded the giant, that he took the head and buried it. It was all in the same area because God was preparing things to a place that where he could bring forth something great. Well, I'm going to tell you, 2017 is the time. Amen. We're not waiting no more. Amen. And I'm fully convinced of this. And I don't even have to say what if, because I already know it's happening. So I'm going to start tonight in Luke 4:18 and 19. Should be a scripture most of you could quote, because it talks about the acceptable year, but I'm just going to read it. And Luke 4:18 and 19. But let me do a little shuffling here real quick. Okay, that's better. I don't know why I carry notes. I probably won't use them anyway. But in Luke 4:18 and 19, read with me, and then we'll pray. I've got my Bible so much. I'm going to read it from here. Just give me a second. I'm getting into technology. Got me a smartphone. I wish I knew more about it. See, the first smartphone I got, I had to take it back because it had a dumb battery. And it just kept going dead. So Luke 4:18 and 19 says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. Pray with me. Father, we just thank you tonight for ears that can hear. We thank you for your Spirit who can deliver the words into these ears, Lord, and bring forth a revelation. Stir us up in our spirits, God, releasing what's in heaven and releasing, God, what needs to be upon the earth. We're going to bind down unbelief tonight. We're binding every principality and power, God. We're binding every hindrance that's keeping these callings and miracles and keeping, God, people from walking in faith to glorify you. This is all being bound, and we're loosing your will and presence in this place. We're loosing, God, tonight that we, Father, nothing is going to block our ears. We have ears to hear. We're going to hear it. And God, we give you the glory for it in Jesus' name. And everybody say amen. Amen. Now, first of all, this is no revelation, but the word year there means a cycle of time or some fixed or definite period of time. So pretty simple. We know what a year is. But the word acceptable there denotes a blessed time when favors of God are profoundly released. Look it up. So some people say that word represents the Jubilee. And that there were times when God set years that it was just a blessed year. See, God set times with his people where like 1 year they didn't work. They didn't go out and do things. But when they did that on that 7th year, then he would bless the year before that it would bring forth 3 times as much, encourage you into the year even after you planted. So the 8th year, you would just, 9th year even, you would eat from the years before. This is what I'm talking about. When God blesses, when God picks the time, when God does things that he sets a cycle that he fixed a period of his favor to be upon, this is what God is impressing upon me, that he is going to give us this time. See, when I gave a word, I've been preaching at this prophetic conference for a few years now, and in 2015, I gave a word. I asked God, I was going down to preach in January of 2016. And I said, what do you want me to preach on? And God gave me one word. He said, I want you to preach on interruptions. Interruptions. So that's what I did. But when I was preaching this message, God brought out that this church I was preaching in was going to have interruptions. And then God brought out there were going to be interruptions in the political field. There were going to be interruptions in everything that God told me that it's on video. You can go watch it. The pastor of that church called me, well-established church that was in this fellowship for many years, called me about 3 months later and said, brother, you're not going to believe this. We dropped out of the fellowship. He said, we're just interrupted down here and everything's changing. But see, God called him in that year to an apostolic level and made him an apostle. And you see, it was for a purpose. And when God interrupts, it's not, and look at the political field. I don't even have to get into that. I mean, I watched TV and laughed all through because God had already showed me what was going to happen. And it was just amazing how God interrupted everything that went through that process. And it was amazing. So for this year, I went back and preached in January of this year, and God told me, give me Psalm 65:11, and he said he crowned this year. Go read it. He said, I crowned this year. And I looked up the word crown, and the word crowner is taken from the Hebrew word which means to encircle. So God picked 2017. At first, you might think, well, he just circled it on the calendar, but I don't think that's what he meant. What he meant was that it is the end of a cycle, because God does things in cycle. God does things. So I believe that what God is about to show us tonight is that a cycle in 2017 is going to stop, and a cycle in 2017 is going to begin. So you get ready for what God has called you. You get ready for where God has placed you. You get ready because it's a favorable time of God that he's going to release the favor. He's going to take you there. Don't get all wrapped up in the what ifs and how comes. You just step out in faith and you believe, because this is your time. This is your year. Then don't wait anymore. Step out in faith. Now I said, okay, God, that's a big statement. Why 2017? And God said, well, the acceptable year, this is what he shared with me, that acceptable year in the Jubilee is a 50-year period. And the Lord laid it up on my heart. He said, you go back and you start searching out what I've done in the Jubilees. And I went back 10 Jubilees from 2017, and it took me back to October. It took me back to October 15, 17. Anybody know what happened in October 15, 17? That's when Martin Luther nailed the thesis to the Wittenberg Church, and he brought forth a reformation to the movement of God that was exactly to this year 500 years. And God told me, he said, that is 50, do the math. He said, that is 50 Jubilees ago.
Wow.
Now, he said 2017 is a Jubilee year. And now he told me, he said, the reason it works in the cycles of 10, listen to this. 10 is the perfect number. It signifies the perfection of divine order. That's what the number 10. Okay, I'm getting known as the numbers man, so just bear with me. But listen what it says. In the systems of calculations, it's called decimals or something like that. It says it's the first of a type of the whole. So when you see a tenth in the numbers that God uses, it's a first in the type of a whole. See, this is why we call it a tithe. It's the 10th part is the first of the part of the whole. If you want to know why you haven't got the whole, it's because you haven't given the 10th. It's that simple. But I'm not here to preach on that. Okay? Listen, it tells us that Noah was the 10th generation. A cycle, when the flood came, cycled out with Noah. He was the 10th of that generation. So it ended with Noah. He got on the boat, landed in the new land, and he landed there and started a new cycle. Wow. Now this is where God is taking us. See, he gave us the commandments by 10. He tells us that when he gave them the tabernacle, and it's in, you can read the scripture, it's in Exodus 27:12. He tells them how to build it, and he says on the side, put 10 poles. Because when you went in there, the cubics was 50 inside of there, which represented the Holy Spirit. It was 50 days from Pentecost when the Holy Spirit come from the crucifixion. So what we're seeing is that God is awakening the church to an order to show us that what he is doing is planned out. He has a time span. Now, I'm not predestination, and I'm not all that. Because listen, when God tells you something, you still got to step into it. You don't just go home, cross your arms, and say, because there are going to be people miss this. There's going to be churches miss this. But not me, Tony. I'm moving in it. We're putting up a 60 by 120 tent. Done got the ground marked out. We done got the flags up. We done got the platform in place. We done got everything ordered. It's coming right down to the pin you're holding, that we know this much, that God's going to do something great. Now God told me, he said, listen, go back to the 9th Jubilee of the era of time that I've given you. So I get my calculator out. I'm real fast. I deducted 50th in 2017, and it's 1967.
Yes, sir.
Everybody knows what happened in 1967.
Yeah, Israel.
It's when Israel took Jerusalem.
Yes, sir.
See, I do not believe that 1948 is the year that started the time clock of the last generation.
Yeah.
You believe that? That's okay. Because that was when man said it happened. But God said when they took Jerusalem, the time clock happened. They took it in the 9th Jubilee. Why the 9th? Because between the 10 poles in the tabernacle, they were 9 spaces. And 9 represents the fruits of the Spirit. 9 represents they were 9 beatitudes. Jesus was raised on the 9th hour. This is when the Holy Spirit works and starts his work in the order of the things that God does. So there were 10 poles, 9 spaces. They were 10 jubilees that brought us to now. But the 9th, the Holy Spirit started working and brought Israel, took Jerusalem, and started the time clock for the last generation.
Glory.
Now, I could get deeper into that, but I'm not going to. Because you can see that Jerusalem was under siege 27 times in the scripture. So, that's 3 times 9, by the way. And we can see that all through, I don't have time to go deep into it, but Jerusalem rather, is absolutely shaped with 9s. Everything from the sieges to the things that's happened, they are just shaped with 9. So how does that bring us now to the 50th Jubilee and tells us what's going to happen? This is where I want to get to. Now I brought a little chart, and this is what we're talking about. We could put that in a chair or something, Dennis, so you don't have to hold it. Just set that box down. Can everybody see this? I'll bring an easel. But listen, 17 means victory. In the Hebrew, you gotta understand, the Hebrews did not have letters. Numbers. So what they did was give letters numeric value. So every word in Hebrew has a numeric value. So the word victory is 17. That's what it comes out to in the numerics. So when you add the letters, you get 17. So what God is telling us is that 17 is victory. Now 17 is the seventh prime number. And 7 is completeness in God. So you got complete victory when you have 17. Come on. You better get ready for this. Because you see here that we've already established that God works in cycles of 10. And the 10 is the completeness, and the 10th represents a part of the whole. We saw how Noah was the 10th generation, and he's the one that got on the boat, he's the one that got off, and it started that cycle. But also I want to show you something about 10 here, because 10 here, it tells us that, I lost my place, I'm sorry, I'm getting too excited.
You're in the kingdom, bro.
Yes. That when Methuselah, the one before Noah, everybody know who Methuselah, right? Lived longer than any man. His name literally meant judgment at death, or the end comes, however you want to interpret it. He lived 969 years. Okay? It is divided, the only man who lived in that era of time whose age can be divided by 17 and come out even. The only man. But we can see that he established here now that victory came at the end of the age of the man whose prophecy, see, his father or grandfather, I think it's his father, was Methuselah. He was the 7th from God. Okay? So God moved in the completeness of a prophecy. He moved through the age of the man who was prophesied, and then in the cycle of the 10th generation, he switched it around. I want you to see this, because here's what God's doing to us. Here's where God's taking us. He's showing us that 17 is complete victory. Every word through the Bible, and I can stand here for hours, but I'm just going to give you the highlights, that we can see that Joseph was 17 years old when he was taken into captivity. But he had a dream. Joseph is the only man I can find in the Bible that he fulfilled everything that God told him, went through what he went through, didn't complain. I can't find one complaint. I can't find one place where he wavered in his faith. But for 17 years he was taken captivity. You know how he was put in prison, all the things he went through, lied on, accused, everything else. But when he was reunited with his father, he got to spend the last 17 years of his father's life with him. So at the beginning, there was victory, and at the end, there was victory. See, this is where I'm taking you tonight. Because, see, in the beginning, the church had victory. In the beginning, the church was established in the apostolic. The church was established in miracles and signs and wonders. The church was established, and nobody questioned what God was doing. But in the middle, it's just been chaos and doubt and backbiting and everything else that you can think of. But let me tell you, in the end, it's about to shift into a new time. It's about to shift into another cycle. It's about to take a shift, and you're not going to believe what God's about to do. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you something here. Because you see, this time here was prophesied by Jeremiah. Now, you may not know this, but in the book of Jeremiah, Jeremiah prayed 17 prayers. Imagine that. Why wasn't it 16? Why wasn't it 18? I'll tell you why. Jeremiah prayed 17 prayers. In Jeremiah 32, verses 16. Turn there with me. I want to show you this. In Jeremiah 32, and we're going to go to the 16th verse. He said, "Now when I had delivered the evidence of the purchase unto Barak, the son of," I'm not good with names, whoever, "I prayed unto the Lord, saying," okay, now listen to this. This is Jeremiah praying his 16th prayer. Okay? When I deliver the earth, he said, I pray the Lord, thou hast made the heaven and the earth, and by thy great power stretch out thy hand, and there is nothing too hard for thee. Now, what happens here is, God gives him a vision. Well, actually, I think that was his 17th prayer, but God gave him a vision after he prayed, the 16th prayer. And God gave him a vision, and he showed him Jerusalem. And he told Jeremiah that he wanted him to buy a piece of land. Now, this don't make any sense on the surface. Because, you see, he tells him he wants him to buy a piece of land. Now, I just want to point something out here, that prayer is in the 17th verse of the 32nd chapter, so just keep that in mind. But he tells him, this family member is going to come, and he's going to sell you a piece of land, and lo and behold, for 17 shekels. But he said, this land you're going to buy, but you'll never possess it. This land you're going to buy, but you're going to be in prison. The land's going to be taken in captivity. But he said there's a reason why he's doing this, because he's showing Jeremiah that in this period of time that this land is going to be purchased so that God had a seed planted into it so that he would know when he got ready to bring it forth in this time. Jeremiah saw this time. Go read it. He saw it. And in his 17th prayer, he said, I'll buy the land. Nothing's too hard for you, God. I'll do it the way you say. Even though I know I'll never live to see it like Joseph. I know I'll not get there, but carry my bones forward. And I'm going to tell you, church, he said he would see Jerusalem purchased back by the Lord. And you and I are seeing that now, which tells me we're in the end of that last time period that God has set forth. Now watch this. Jesus, after the resurrection, the only recorded miracle Jesus did after his resurrection. I dreamed about this. Matter of fact, I dreamed one night laying in the bed that I was on a boat, ship, an old ship. There was a wood floor and a beam come out of the floor. It's one of those dream visions I had. And I couldn't figure out where it was. And they were men running around on the ship. And these white, pullover, looked like you cut a sack, pull it over. And there was a rope went off through a pulley down into the water. And I'm looking around. I can't figure out where I'm at. Just started out that way. And just as I'm looking around, I looked across about 100 yards on the bank. There's a man standing in white by a fire. I instantly knew that was Jesus, and I was on the boat with the disciples. They started pulling the net, and the dream was so real that as the rope come through the pulley, water was spraying off. They pulled the net up out of the water. I sat up in the bed and screamed out, there's 153 fish in that net. I was sitting in my bed thinking, what in the world did I eat for supper? And why did I say 153? So I went to my office, I got in the Word of God, because I didn't know. When they pulled the net up, John 21 says there was 153 fish in that net.
Wow.
So then I began to seek the Lord and say, Lord, what in the world are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to show me? And I read everything I could read. I read every commentary from every educated idiot that's ever wrote about the Bible. I looked it up. And I say that respectfully. There's some smart men that say some good things, but on this one, they missed it. I couldn't find one commentary, one person who wrote about the 153 with understanding. Some said it was how many nations there was, and some said this, and some said that. But not until I began to see that God was showing me 153 is key to the time period we're walking into right now. 153. What's it mean? If you go to Romans 8:14, Romans 8:19, and 1 John 3:2. Matter of fact, it's in the Old Testament. It's in Job, and it's also in Genesis. There's a term that says the sons of God. And I want to show you something, that if you take that term, sons of God, in the Hebrew language, and I'm not a Hebrew scholar, but if you take those letters and give their numeric value, and you add it up, it comes to 153. That is sons of God in Hebrew. That is sons of God on the left-hand side. That is the numeric value and the total at the bottom. So in Hebrew, sons of God is equivalent to 153. Now what does that mean? I wasn't satisfied. So I found out that 153 has been a number. It's the only number in our numeric system that can be squared into itself. The only one. God set it apart from every other number. Still wasn't satisfied. I said, God, you've got to get me to where I understand what this is talking about. And then I found, for back in, I forget what year, some mathematician had figured out, for whatever reason, that if you take 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 down to 17, it equals 153. And then God began to show me that 17 is the key to understanding a time period when the sons of God will be pulled up out of the waters and be set apart for a time period of something that He's doing in the earth. It was a prophetic act of Jesus. And after the resurrection, the only miracle He performed, He showed them that I'm going to have a net that I'm going to pull out of the waters, and they're going to be the sons of God in a time period which is equivalent to 17 to do my will in the earth, says the Lord. Oh, it gets better.
Oh, come on. That's good now. That's good.
Have you ever heard this?
No, that's good. Come on. Just right.
So then God begins to show me. Because our church is named Victory Rock. Remember, victory in Hebrew is equivalent of 17. That church, a lot of people don't know this, I don't share it too much, but the way that church got its name was because I was going through a very difficult time in my ministry. In fact, I just wanted to quit. It was years ago. I was discouraged, that's why I know I'm here. I'm here to help the brokenhearted. I went back, my wife's dad owns a 153-acre farm. I took a walk back on the farm. I found a big rock, and I climbed up on the rock, and I sat there. And I said, I'm not moving until you give me some answers. And I want to tell you, I can't share with you tonight the revelation that God gave me. But my question to God was, why? Why? If you knew the pain that I was going to have to go through, if you knew the garbage and you knew, and then you saved me and you brought me to this point, why? I wish I had time to share with you what God opened up the heavens and showed me that day. But I left there knowing that my victory came on that rock. And so when we started the church, we called it Victory Rock. So victory being equivalent of 17, okay? Now I want to show you something. You want to pay close attention to this. Now, Dennis, you can hold this up for me because I'm making a mess of it. If you'll look, victory is equivalent of 17. Our church sits on 1700 Fairview Road. Now this is not planned. This is the hand of God. We are in Crawford County, Ohio. Go look on my license plate. On the front plate is the number 17. It's the 17th county of the state of Ohio. Ohio is the 17th state in the Union. And we are having the Ohio outpouring, which is 17 letters. And to get us to this outpouring was the inspired awakening we had for 3 years in a row. That was 17 letters also. None of this was planned. This was all given to us by revelation after it happened. But if you look at the bottom, I put the number 7. Okay? You can set it down. I think is that the last chart? I think it is. If it is, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done with that. Okay. If you'll notice, they were 7. They were 7 things that God gave us that had to do with 17. Confirmations of what we're doing. So I asked the Lord, He said, Picture 10 of meetings. It's on the sign that we're putting out. 10 of meetings is what it is. It's an Ohio outpouring, the 10 of meetings. And he said, pitch it on the 7th month, the 17th day of 2017. I said, why? Why? Because he said, because 17 is victory. And God, I never ever heard this preached in my life. And God said, Jesus was raised on the 17th day of the month. I'm like, really? I went over and looked. It said he was crucified on the 14th day. And he rose 3 days later. I'm not quick, but 3 and 7, or 3 and 14 is 17.
That's right.
He began to show me the things that happens with the 17s as we move through the scripture. That 17 is victory. It ain't just victory, but it's complete victory. And he began to show me that what he's about to do. And he said that's why they were 7 disciples on the ship whenever they pulled the 153. And our sons of God in the last days, starting in 2017, are going to evangelize the world. And I'm calling them forth to do a work, saith the Lord. I'm calling them forth to release something of the last days, because you've seen the former outpouring, but he said you're about to see the latter outpouring. We're about to see what God is doing in the earth. One of my first revelations, and I was sharing this with Dennis, he actually pulled it out of me on the way here. Because God told me one time, I was confused, and I say that in a respectful way in the ministry when I was a young minister, because God was giving me things that didn't make no sense. He was pouring things into me I didn't understand. And he said, Danny, your life's a puzzle. Hold on to ever peace. What I'm about to share with you right now was the first revelation I ever received from the Lord. Years ago. I've been preaching now for 20-some years. And God said, the reason I put 3 crosses on Calvary was because I cut a covenant with Abraham, the father of the faith. And he said, when Abraham cut a covenant with me, he laid out 3 animals. And he said the center animal he cut in half, and he walked through, and you know the story, where there's the smoking flax and everything that happened. And then Abraham fell asleep, but he had to shoo off the vultures off the sacrifice. But God said, I studied all that, and I understood. And I said, yeah, God, I see that. He said, but focus on the birds. He said, there are 2 birds. And he told Abraham to lay out 2 birds and sacrifice, and he said, divide them not. He said the first bird was a pigeon. Go read it. Or I'm sorry, a dove. And then he said the second one was a pigeon. I didn't understand, so this was back before the internet. This is back before everything that ever happened, that we had all this technology. So my wife, she's smarter than me, so I took her to the library. And we went up to the library, and we spent almost a day just searching out the difference between a pigeon and a dove.
Huge difference. My God.
Here's what we found out. The dove and the pigeon has the same skeleton. I know. The dove and the pigeon has the same intestines. Same. But the dove and the pigeon are so different when it comes to their appearance and when it comes to their habits. When they come, he said the dove is gentle. The dove come in the first and the former. It was as a dove landed upon Jesus, and he saw the dove, and he said it was the dove that Jesus had to rescue when he went in the temple and he turned over the basket of cages and he released the dove. See, that was the Holy Spirit released by the Son of God in the temple so he could go out and do his work. But God said this time, man has put my dove in a cage again, but this time it's not going to be so nice. This time it'll be pigeons, and I'm going to loose pigeons in the last days that are rude, they're forceful, they come upon you, they don't get scared, they're not easily intimidated. But the Lord said, pigeons, it's coming in an outpouring. So get ready for some pigeon religion. I want to tell you, this so encouraged me because our ministry is pigeons. Now you'd have to walk in our church. Tony's been there. Our women got more ink than your men. We got drug dealers, bank robbers. Matter of fact, I just had to go to the federal court to testify. Am I telling the truth? For one of the brothers that's in our church that robbed many banks. He went across several states and he robbed banks. And the judge gave him, he already spent 20 years in his first string of bank robbers. Then he gets out and he messes up and he robs some more. And then the judge gives him a break and sends him to Teen Challenge. He hooks up with us and the man is absolutely changed. You wouldn't, if I put him in the room, he'd be the last one you pick out. Am I telling the truth? He's the last one. He is so humble and he's so full of God and he's so full of love that he wouldn't hurt nobody. And I went and told this judge, and I told him he had to go all the way out to Iowa, I think it was, Salt Lake City, and we went to a federal courtroom in Akron, and it was on video court, and I testified that he's a changed man, and the prosecutor asked for 10 years. We prayed, fasted. And Thursday morning, he went back to Salt Lake City for his sentencing. And the judge said, "You're not going to prison. He's a pigeon." We got people in our church who were drug dealers. Dads was killed in front of them in a drug deal in our town. While they were in their second prison term, their whole family was assassinated by the dealers. And right now, humble, loving, give you the shirt off their back. Matter of fact, my wife and I bought a house and we was getting ready to redo the kitchen, and he come over and put all the tile backsplash in, wouldn't charge me a dime, said, "I'm just sowing seed into you because I believe in what we're doing." He came to me yesterday or Friday night in class and said, "I just wanted to let you know my boss just gave me a $3 an hour job raise." Oh, pigeons, but they know God. Pigeons, but they're on fire. Pigeons that ain't afraid to get in your face and tell you need to be saved. They're not afraid to stand up. They're just like I was. I was crazy. I told the man one time, "You got my face." See, he didn't know me before. The man got my face. He started pushing the wrong buttons. I said, "It's to your best interest I stay saved right now. This is going to get bad." I'm here to tell you, church, 2017 is complete victory. 2017 is the end of this cycle. 2017, see those disciples. And when Jesus gave that prophecy and they pulled them fish, what was they doing out there fishing anyway? They gave up everything they had and they was with the Lord. And they walked with him. But because he didn't show up when they thought he should show up, they got discouraged. And they went back to doing what they always did. This is where the church is at, Tony. It just went back to doing what it knows to do. And that's to fish on an earthly boat and earthly methods and try to pull in whatever they can, and they wear themselves out through the night and they get nothing. But when Jesus shows up and says one statement, cast her on the other side. I want you to stand with me. God's about to cast a net tonight. God's about to cast a net tonight because you're discouraged. You haven't seen what you thought you was going to see. And some of you went back and tried to do it your way, and it didn't work. But here the Lord has sent this crazy little hillbilly pigeon down here to tell you that tonight's your night. That the Lord said, go do it on the other side at my word. And and watch what you pull up, because everybody around them was filling their boats. It said they had to call the others, and they filled the boats, and it said not one was lost. I just told you about the good ones in our church. They call us the Church of the Misfits. Matter of fact, my neighbor just a day or two before I left, I bought this new house out in this really nice neighborhood. It's down the street from the church, but we're over on the other side of the 4-lane. It's a really nice neighborhood. Beth and I bought a house. I'm a numbers guy, okay? Listen to me. I told the Lord, I said, you're going to have to show me about this house. But I said, we're buying this house. Okay, Lord. But I looked at the address and it was 1475. And I said, God, it has no money. I didn't want the house off the address. Beth says, we want the house. So we bought it. We were remodeling it. We did about 4 months work before we moved into it. I was heading out to the church. I had to go right back to go to the church. And I was going right by the house one day, and I was looked at that blue sign out front. They have all these markers for the fire department, 1475. I said, God, you never did. Because I asked the Lord, show me what's in them numbers. He never said a word. We bought the house. We remodeled, get ready to move in. I drove by, and I said, God, you never did tell me what's in them numbers. And I'm telling you, I'm standing here before the Lord right now. If He took me home, He said I have an oath. 70. He said, that's your house. I'm not going to call you out. If the girls want to come and play something. This thing goes deeper than what I'm sharing with you, but I'm just giving you enough to whet your appetite. If you're here tonight and you're discouraged, you're here tonight and you just don't see the fruit, you went back to doing what you used to do the way you wanted to do it, you're here by divine appointment. You're here tonight by divine appointment. And if you want to come up, Tony and I will pray with you.